Welcome back, Heroclix fans. Today I have a special video for you guys, and this video is going to be dedicated to new players or refreshers to get people into the game. So what I'm going to do is do a quick overview video on how to play Heroclix. And what you see right here is basically everything you're going to need to actually get started in the game of Heroclix and start actually learning how this game works. One of the downfalls of this game, but a lot of people like it, is that it's not an easy game and there is a lot of complexities in it. So we're gonna go step by step here a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit more of a speed version of how to play Heroclix, because a lot of people just want to get into the game and they kind of want to learn as they play. So that's what we're going to go here. We have the rule books and we have the powers and abilities card. So, once you start getting the basics of the game, you can, slowly learn the game and start to get better. And if you follow this YouTube channel, Glass Cabinet Films, I go into a lot of detail on team building and like I show you videos of games and matches. So, the more videos you watch, the more you see the game being played, and you'll pick up on a lot of these things. On my website, glasscabinethobbies.com, I also have a blog where I go into more detail. I have a store, so if you're looking for figures, you can pick those up as well. So anyways, let's get started in this demo tutorial of how to play Heroclix. And I'm going to show you and explain each one of these items on this board right here, and then we will go through the steps and actually build a team, explain a little bit, and I'll show you some of the gameplay so you guys can get started. Alright, so first things first, this is our rule book. This is the 2013 core rule book, which will tell you all the rules. So if I don't cover everything, you can go through there and pick up on some of the smaller details, but this is going to just get you started. This is the powers and abilities card. It goes over every single one of the powers that you'll find on the dials and some abilities. So that's something that you're going to want to have with you pretty much for a while until you actually get the grasp of the game. And no one is going to be, upset that you're looking at the powers and abilities card once you're learning the game. So that's not a problem. And in the back here, this is a map. It's a double-sided map. And, this is basically the map that you play on. There's tons of maps out there. So over your Heroclix career, you will begin to collect a lot more maps. So don't feel bad if you only have one map. That's not a problem. This right here is the Avengers and X-Men starter set, the X-Men version, since these are all the X-Men. So if you're looking for that, if you're like, what is this? This is a starter set. This is the starter set, the X-Men starter set. There is an Avengers starter set, so you can pick that up as well. But if you have the X-Men one, you basically can follow along with me and know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll have everything. With this starter set, it comes with 2 custom X-Men dice. The game is basically a game of dice rolls. Your figures are like strategic pieces that have powers, and you try to knock out your opponent. And along the way, you make attack rolls and defense rolls and certain other abilities. And almost every single one of those has a die roll with them. Either one single d6, or to make an attack, you roll 2d6. So we'll go into the attacking and defending, but that's basically what dice are for. Down here below, we have tokens and we have dice. Some people like to use dice, some people like to use tokens, and these are basically to assign your character an action. To have them move or attack, they need to be given an action. I'll also cover that as well, but these are what they're for. You can assign, say, Emma Frost decides to attack. You give her a token like that, and then now that shows that she was actually given an action. Or you can give her a dice. It shows that she has one action. So that is pretty cool. So these ones are really nice for the starter set. They actually have all the custom figures with their really nice logos. Or what I used to do, and I still like to do, is using the little small dice here. Okay, we have objects. We have heavy objects and we have light objects. When you carry an object, you can do additional damage with a close combat. You could throw them, stuff like that, but those are kind of, you know, stuff you'll pick up later on in the game. But the only way you can move these, just so that we can cover it just real quick, basically is super strength. Like a character like Colossus has super strength, meaning he can pick up objects and hit people with them or throw them. Or we have telekinesis like Magneto that can, you know, lift things up, and he can either move the objects or move other characters. So those are things that you want to know about. The objects, you can pick them up and smash people with them. Smoke Cloud is just kind of like a hindering terrain marker that some characters can throw out. It's like a power, so that's kind of neat. Special tokens for any kind of special power that these characters have. You can like throw these on the map right there, and depending on what the power is, you'll know exactly what that is. But that's just what these are. And barrier tokens are basically, say, if one of these characters has a power called barrier, they can put up a wall so that it kind of helps protect them, and where your opponent will basically have to blow that wall out to get to you. So that's really cool. And the one final thing is there's rubble markers on the back of each one of these. Say like if you destroy a wall or something, you can put that through the wall, and now there's hindering terrain on each side of the wall, but you can see it now. So that's, you know, that's pretty neat. You know, more not necessarily advanced tactics, but just an overview of kind of what it is. Back here, well, or kind of in the center here, we have 6 characters, and these are the figures you would pull out of the starter set. Now you can get boosters and you can pull other figures like that, and those are all random kind of luck of the draw what you get. Like the newest set is the Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man set, so you can open those up and get all different types of rarities, and you know, that's that. But this starter set, you know exactly what you're gonna get. And for that, I will cover what they do next, and like kind of the bases and the powers and all the combat symbols. But the final thing is we have character cards. Now, the character cards basically give you a lot of information on what these figures actually can do. And for an example, you might not be able to see it here, but Magneto, it tells you his name, it tells you his keywords. Keywords are kind of help you to build theme teams, or also like some powers require you to have like keywords to do certain things, which are all powers that you'll see on the character card. It's more of an advanced thing, but you know, just to kind of to let you know that there are things that are on the card that you might want to look at. Then it also goes through all of the powers they have, and if they have any special powers or traits, it'll be on the card, and it'll explain to you exactly what it does. And over time, you'll know how that works. And on the corner here, it shows you their team ability and their point value. I don't know if you can see it, but it's 200 or 150 for this character. And on the back, you have the number they are in the set, some more powers, any other additional information, and a significant appearance in the comics. So that's kind of the overview of everything right here. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to get right into the characters. Alright, so we are going to cover the figures and the dials and the powers on these guys, and kind of give you a overview of how this works and what to look for. So the first thing I want to cover is it's a miniature superhero tabletop game, and the figures are what really brings this game alive. And as you see here, we have Magneto, Cyclops, and more, and they look really, really cool. At least to me they do. And on the map, you know, people come up and they're like, wow, that's really cool. You have this really awesome team or army or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, it's really cool and it's fascinating to see these pieces on the board. And that's really cool that they've, you know, they make them really look awesome, and they look just like the characters. So that's one of the bonuses to play in this game, is the pieces that you play are not a card, it's actually a figure. You feel like in a way that you're channeling some of their energies, and like, wow, Magneto's gonna TK you, or Cyclops is gonna blast you in the face, you know, like you kind of get that feel. I mean, you can go that way, or you can just kind of just be numb to it all and just be like, I'm just going to move here and there. And that's fine, but the more you get excited and the more it's a fun game. So that's the cool thing about this. The figures just look very awesome, and over time they just look better and better. So let's look at all of this crazy stuff down below here. So the first thing we're going to cover is the boot symbol and the wing symbol. Those are the standard movement symbols for these characters. And the boot symbol is very simple. It's just, he's a grounded character. He doesn't fly, so some of the terrain he is affected by. A flyer can fly over certain terrains. When we look at the map, we'll take a look at that as well. You'll see what I'm talking about. Then we have attack symbols. We have a sharpshooter, and we have the standard single fist. There's also a double fist that would be a duo figure, but we won't really cover that in this video. You'll see it later. But the sharpshooter is basically he can shoot through opponents' characters. So like if you have like Magneto will be able to shoot Namor, even if this character is in between them. Typically, you're not able to do that. I'm not going to go cover the power in this video, but you see it, and you can see that there's different symbols for different things. Also, this character can shoot someone from close combat. Typically, when you're in close combat, you can only punch them, but if you have the sharpshooter, you could shoot them. And some of the powers you have may give you a benefit to want to be able to shoot or to punch, depending on the powers your opponent has. Also, you'll see here down below, there's this shield with this cross through it, or this dash through it. That actually shows Indomitable. What that is, it basically is a built-in willpower. And I'll tell you what willpower is, because it's a power that it's really important. Willpower basically lets you give your character a action token. That's typically you do something, say Cyclops attacks. He'll get an action token. He's been given an action this turn. Now next turn, he still has that action token. He can either push, meaning he can be given another action to have 2 action tokens, and then he's pushed. Well, now if you have willpower and you push, you don't take a click of damage. But if you do not have the Indomitable or the power willpower, or there's other things like power cosmic quintessence, which you'll see later, then if you don't have that, then you actually have to take a click of damage for pushing. So Cyclops would then take a click of damage, and basically you just turn the dial, and then he has new stats and powers. So pushing is a very big part of the game, and having willpower helps you out by not taking that click of damage for pushing. Hopefully I'm making it clear. But then we have the damage power down here, which is the symbol right here. It's kind of a little explosion. And that basically is just standard. There's colossals and giant symbols, but most characters you're going to run into just have this standard little explosion that shows that's just a normal damage. Then above that we have this number 8, 8, and 0. And we have two lightning bolts, 1 lightning bolt, and 1 lightning bolt. What that means is this character can make a ranged attack from 8 squares away, targeting 1 character. Magneto can shoot someone from 8 squares away, targeting 2 characters. And so that's pretty neat, you know, but Namor, he has no range, so everybody that he's going to do damage to is going to be next to him. Like, he's going to have to get right up on Cyclops to damage to him. So that's kind of interesting there. Alright, so let's move right into the powers that we see right here, and I'll just kind of show that and explain a little bit of that so you kind of understand that. But when you go through the powers and abilities card right here, you can learn more about that, see the powers, and just kind of read there. So let's start off with Cyclops, since he's out in the center. He's got run and shot with a 9 movement. So what run and shot basically lets you do is move half your movement, but you round it up. So this would be, you can move 5 squares and then make a shot from 8 squares. You can shoot someone within 8 squares. You have to be able to see them, but that's still good. Now this guy, he can shoot through walls, so he might not necessarily have that issue, but typically you would have to be able to see your opponent. This Cyclops is a nasty figure. Okay, and then that's a 9 movement. So this character can move 9 squares within a turn, Or with the power running shot, he can move half his movement and be given a ranged attack to hit someone 8 squares away. Also down below we have the attack number, which is the 11. The power that's shown here is Precision Strike, which is a new power, and it's pretty cool because when this character makes an attack, the attack cannot be evaded and the damage dealt can't be reduced below 1. So when you're using Precision Strike, basically it's going to at least do 1 damage or the full damage, and we'll cover how much damage is. But yeah, it's really, really good. And there's powers that can help you evade or reduce all damage, and this Precision Strike is very beneficial to get through those. And then we have, down on the bottom, we have a power. It's called Energy Shield Deflection, and his defense is a 17. Energy Shield Deflection, if you are targeted with a ranged attack, your defense goes up by +2. It kind of like helps you dodge a ranged attack because it boosts your defense up by +2. So if someone shoots him, he gets Energy Shield Deflection and his defense goes up by +2, which would be a 19, which is pretty good. And if you're looking at the stats here, let's kind of cover it because now we're on the damage part. When you attack someone, you have this middle number right here is the 11. Then when you attack someone, you roll 2d6. So we're going to roll 2d6 here. I don't have 2d6 right here. So one of them is a 5 and the other one is a 1. So you 2d6 roll a 5 and a 1, that's 6. You add that number up with that number right there, the 11. So 6 plus 11 is 17. And then you compare the person you hit, defense, and his stats is 17, right? So technically that would hit. But like I said, if it's a ranged attack, Energy Shield Deflection goes in, that'd be a +2, it'd be a 19. But if Cyclops punched that person and they had a 17, it would hit them. And when you hit someone, you're like, well, what do I do? Well, this number right here, this 4 number, this low number, is how many damage you deal to your opponent. So that is 4 clicks of damage. So if Cyclops hits somebody, say Namor here, Namor takes 4 clicks of damage. So that's how that all works out. But now we're going to compare this, right? Let's compare these stats here so we can see actually how this works. We have an 11 on an 18. You see that? If Cyclops attacks Namor, he has to roll 11 on 18. He needs to roll a 7 to actually hit him. So that's what you need. And then when you do, this character will take the clicks of damage. Now he has a special power on damage, which is Impervious. With Impervious, you get to roll 1d6. On a result of a 5 or 6, you reduce all of the damage. So if he rolls a 5 or 6 and Cyclops hits him, he takes no damage at all. But with Impervious, there's also another power associated with it. You get to roll the 5 or 6. If you do not get the 5 or 6, you say you roll a 1 through 4. You still get to reduce 2 of the damage. So Cyclops hits you, you miss your Impervious roll, so it's 5 damage, you reduce 2, so you take 2 clicks. So then you would click his dial 2 times. 1, 2. And now you're on your 3rd click and you have all new sets of powers. The final thing I want to cover here, back here is your team ability. These are your point values, 150 or 100 points. This is your little tab that shows you what set it's from, and in this set, the number you are. And you're going to see there's 2 point values for these figures. So that means there's 2 different starting lines for this figure and you can pay for them accordingly. This is your top dial. This is a 150 point starting area. You can click it and you see that other line right there? If you start right here, it's going to cost you 100 points and you just start from here. So that's pretty neat. So the next step is we're going to build a Heroclix team, and I'll kind of give you some advice on how to build that and just show you the basics on building a team. So now that you have a basic understanding of what you'll see on the bases and the dials and their point values, we need to kind of learn how to build a team and how that works and what to look for. So I'll kind of cover a little bit here, and you will learn a lot more in other videos and my blog to actually build a really, really good competitive team. But for this video, I think I can show you guys the basics to kind of have an idea of what you're supposed to do. And so let's get right into it. Like we've already looked a little bit, all of the figures in this starter set have 2-point values. So that'll actually make it easier to build a team. And standard modern age rules are 300-point builds. So we will go into building a 300-point team real quick here, and then you can kind of see where it can evolve into bigger teams. All right, so I am a really big fan of Cyclops. Cyclops is 150 points or 100 points. So I can play him at any point value. So let's say I'm going to play him at the 150, and I think I moved him down to his 100-point value. So he's at his full points, 150. So let's move these guys back just a little bit. So he's going to be my foundation, 150 points. So we're building a 300-point team. So I only have 150 points to fill out. So let's look at some of the other figures we have here that maybe we can put together. Alright, so Namor here, he is 150 or 225. So we know we can't play him at his full point cost. So he'd have to be played at his half point cost. So he is a possibility because he's still in that range. Emma is 100 points or 125 points. So she still fits within. Colossus, there's 125 points or 175 points. So his lower value is still playable. Magneto clocks in at 200 points or 150. So the smaller point value we can play, 150 to 300. In Magic, she is 75 points or 125. So let's make it easy and let's make it rounded out. Well, let's see. There's no 275 point characters, so she's going to be out. So we can't really make a team with her for this guy. Namor, he can play at 150, so that's a possibility. We have Emma, 100 points or 125. Well, there's no 50-point options here, and we're going to have to pass on her. Colossus, there is 125 or 175. None of those are going to fit the mold. So really, right now, it looks like we're going to either have to pick Magneto at 150 or Namor at 150. So let's just go with Magneto, because that's pretty cool. Cyclops and Magneto. So Magneto will be at his second starting line at 150. So let's move him to 150. And that's only 2 clicks in. So he's at 150 now. And Cyclops is at the top dial at 150 as well. So this right here is a 300-point team. And at 300 points, you get 3 actions. And it is a theme team because they are keyworded for X-Men. And you only need 2 figures if they're non-generic keywords. And X-Men is non-generic. So we have a theme team right here as well. There is generic theme teams where basically like a ruler or a soldier where you would need 1 figure for every 100 points. And typically for teams and tournaments, for every 100 points you play, you get an action. So like 300 points, you get 3 actions. If you play 400 points, you get 4 actions. So depending on how many figures you have, it depends, how hard it will be to move your force. Since these guys are kind of expensive, 150 is kind of expensive. As you saw, this character, there's a point value and this point value. She can go down to 75. Well, there's figures that can go down to 25 or 50. So you'll see that you can get a lot of figures for the points, when you get boosters and other figures. But these guys are really powerful, and those cheap figures aren't as powerful. So that kind of makes sense. So this is one team. So when we go through our demo, this will be one team that I explain and show you. And then let's build a second team because we need an opponent, right? Who should we go with? You know what might be really easy? We got either Colossus at 175 and Magic at 125, which is 300 points. And we have Emma and Namor. We can play them also. Let's see here. Well, they don't actually equal out to an even fun team. Let's see. Nope. They would not even out to a 300-point team. So let's see, what would we want to do? Let's for our second, I mean, this actually would be thematic, but they also have a lot of special powers, which might be difficult to teach you guys, but we'll do it. We'll do it. So these are our 2 300-point teams, and these figures are just going to have to sit on the sidelines for the rest of this video. So now that you have 2 teams, this is you and this is your buddy's team, now you want to play the game. We want to battle. Let's see who wins. Well, right now, we're going to take a little break and we're going to come back with putting these figures on the map and actually demoing some of the action. Alright guys, so this is a Heroclix map. And it's quite large. As you see, the figures here, way down here, are rather small compared to the whole size of the map. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to kind of show you the starting areas and some of the basics of getting the game started. So, right here, there's this purple box. Starts from here all the way down here. This is one of the starting areas. So what we're going to do, we'll move Magneto and Cyclops there. And there might be better places to put them, but for the most part, we'll just put them right here. They're in their starting area. So they're ready to go to battle. So now the other team also has another starting area on the other side of the map. From here all the way down here. We're going to move them as well back over there. So you can see how the game is set up. You play across from your opponent. You can either sit on this side and sit on that side, or, you know, the lengthwise. It doesn't really matter. You just play your army, and basically one person will go first, the other person will go second, and you just trade actions until either both figures are KO'd, or when time is called, whoever has the most victory points. Victory points are the exact amount of points they cost. So Cyclops, we're playing him at 150 points. When, say, Colossus knocks out Cyclops, so he deals a lot of damage to him, and he takes clicks of damage, and when Cyclops reaches KO on his dial, he is knocked out, and he's pretty much done for the game. And then Colossus gets those points, so he would get 150 points. The game was called, and those were the only points that were won, that this team would win because they have 150 points. So that's kind of that. All right, so there's other things that we need to talk about. When you have your teams, you have objects. Each team can lay out 3 objects. So basically we're going to just do this. This Colossus team will get 3 objects. We'll just put them out here just for the basics. And then the Magneto team with Cyclops, we'll just throw them out there. This is just randomly, nothing spectacular. We're going to put these barrier special smoke cloud tokens to the side. You never know, they may come up. You may have to blow out a wall. You may have a power where you need to throw these out and to display your power. These are some different types of action tokens. We'll keep them off the side as well. These are action tokens we're going to use for this, just demoing 1 action, flip it over, 2 actions if they're pushed. Keep those off the side of the map as well. These are the character cards. So this would be one team, and I have the wrong card for here. Let's get it. And then the other team would there. So each team would have their cards on the off the map there. So now that is what the map will look like. Typically you don't put anything on the map other than the objects and the figures. Before we move on and I demo some of the action, this is how the map would be set up. But now we need to decide who goes first, right? So what you do is player 1 will be Cyclops, player 2 will be Colossus. Player 1 will get to roll. You add up your dice roll plus how many figures you have if you have a theme team. So this is a theme team, and that also is a theme team because they both have keyworded X-Men theme teams. So this is a 1 and a 5, a 1 and a 4, which would be 5, plus 2 is a 7. So they have a 7 to see if they go first. We'll roll for them. They would typically roll themselves. And that's also the same thing. It's a 5. So at this time, when it's a tie, you have to roll it again to see who actually has the best roll. So we'll do it again. Cyclops will get the roll. This is a 7, And we'll see over there is an 8. So Colossus will get to go first. So when you go first, what happens is you get to pick the map, your opponent gets to pick what side they want to play on. And then the game starts and you go first. So I decided to play this map and I already put the figures out. But typically whoever wins the map roll gets to go first, and then your opponent gets to pick the side of the map they want to start on. So Cyclops could say, I want to play on that side, or I want to play on that side. So that's how that works. Alright, so let's go into a little bit of a demo right here. As you see, Cyclops already has an action token, and Magic already has an action token. Cyclops has Indom, so he can be given an action and not take a click of damage. But Magic, on the other hand, does not have that willpower or that Indom built in. So if she was given an action, she would have to take a click of damage. So right now, we're just going to go through a little bit of the steps here, and I want to give you guys a little bit of how some of this stuff works. So Magneto, he's going to go. He can carry Cyclops because he's a flyer. The flyer symbol allows you to carry characters with grounded symbols as well. So what we're going to do, Magneto is going to carry Cyclops. We're just going to go right here and drop down Cyclops here. Cyclops still has the token on, and now Magneto will get an action token. Just like that. Now if you're carried, you cannot be given an action. So Cyclops cannot now, move out and attack, or because he does have running shots, so that would be the move half your movement and take a range shot. But since he was carried, he cannot do an action. So he has to clear. Simply just take off your action token, and that is it. That's that one turn. So that's pretty cool. Very simple there. So now your opponent gets to go. So Colossus, because Magic is pushed, really can't do anything. So Colossus, he has charge, which basically is just like run and shot. You move half your movement and you make a close combat attack. But he also has super strength, meaning he can pick up objects. So we're going to have him pick up an object. He's going to move. All you have to do is just move 1, 2, and if you move by an object, you can pick it up if you have super strength. So he's going to pick that object up, and he feels that wall's going to help protect him. So what he's going to do, you put the object underneath your character card, or your character, and you put it on there, and you have your action token. So technically you can kind of do whatever you want, but that shows that he has an action, he has his object, and he has Indom, so next turn he can still be given an action. So that's pretty cool. And Magic is going to clear, can't really do nothing unless she wants to push, but there's really no point. So she's done. And now we have them again. Now they're up, and they get to decide what they want to do. Cyclops now has no action tokens, and he has Indom, so he's free to go anywhere he wants. And Magneto has 1 action token, but he also has Indom, so he's good as well. He can still be given 1 more action. They both have run and shot, so they both can move half their movements and, go on with their business and make their range shots. So let's see what we're going to do here. We have Cyclops and Magneto, and what we want to do is try to make a shot on Magic or attempt to blow out this wall here and try to attack him. But what we're going to do, just for the basics, what we're going to do is have Magneto run and shot. He is in hindering terrain, but since he's a flyer, he's not affected by that. If Cyclops was in hindering terrain, you would half your movement to get out of it, and then that just to move. And if you were going to do run and shot, you'd half it again. So it's why if you're going to do stuff like that, you don't get in hindering terrain. So Magneto is going to fly. We're not going to carry Cyclops, because if we carry Cyclops, Cyclops cannot be given an action this turn. Also, one note, when you carry a character, your movement is cut by 2. So Magneto's movement is 10. If he carries Cyclops, his movement is only 8. So when you're doing run and shot, your movement's only 8. So now your run and shot has only 4 movement. Things to know. Just things to know. Okay, we're going to run and shot. Keep the action token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is going to push, so we'll flip it over. He's got it in Dom, so he's not going to take a click of damage after this attack. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The wall's blocking Colossus, so he can't target him. He's got 2 targets. If the wall was not there, he could target him, but at this point, he can only target Magic. All right, so that's awesome. Magneto has a 10 attack. Magic has a 17 defense with energy shield deflection. Since it's a ranged attack, she gets energy shield deflection, so it goes up by +2. So that would be a 19. Colossus, being a really good big brother, has this power called Defend. Now, Defend allows adjacent friendly characters to borrow your defensive stats. His defense stat is 18, so she's going to borrow that 18. So now she goes up to an 18, energy shield deflection +2. She's at a 20 defense from range. Wow, Magneto, you bit off a little bit too much. Now his 10 attack has to hit a 20. And the cool thing about attacking her, well, if you are Magic, she has this power called Probability. She can make someone re-roll their dice. But let's see, you have to do it within range. You can only prob someone within range. Her range is 5, but the default range on probability is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Magneto is in range, so if he does roll that 10, she can make him re-roll it. So let's roll it up and let's actually see if he can hit it. Highly unlikely, since 2d6, the highest number is a 12. And guess what? Magneto rolls an 11. So Magic's like, I don't think so, re-roll that. Okay, Magneto has to re-roll that. And he rolls a 5. Now that attack missed. When the attack missed, nothing happens. And she's clear. She evades the attack. She dodges the attack. Magneto gets a token. If this is the time, if he did not have willpower or Indom, he would take a click of damage for pushing. But since he has Indom, he does not. So now we have Cyclops. What's Cyclops going to do? Well, what Cyclops is going to do is going to run the shot. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this Cyclops can shoot through walls. So Colossus, on the other hand, he has to deal with Cyclops. And he has an 18 defense with Impervious. We already talked a little bit about Impervious. You get to roll a d6 on a 5 or a 6. You evade all damage. Or if you miss it, you just reduce 2 of the damage. Precision Strike says the damage cannot be reduced below 1 and it can't be evaded. So this is going to be very interesting. Magic now, she already used her probability. So if Cyclops hits Colossus, she cannot prob the roll. If she would have saved it, then guess what? She could prob Cyclops' roll. But Cyclops still has to roll and see if he hits. So it's going to be an 11 on an 18. He needs a 7 to deal 4 damage, but we already know Colossus has damage reducers. So let's roll it up and let's see if he hits. We have a 1 and a 5, which is a 6, plus 11 is a 17. That misses. So he also gets an action token for the miss. And then that's that. They both were given action tokens, so that's pretty much the end of their turn. So now it is Colossus and Magic's turn. Magic is sitting there deciding what to do. She has 5 range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so she could shoot on Cyclops. Cyclops does have energy shield deflection, so from range it'll be a +2. Might be kind of hard, but the best bet here is to have Colossus with his heavy object that he has charge on Cyclops. So that's what we're going to do. She has the probability, so she can re-roll it now. You can use probability 1 time on your opponent's turn and 1 time on your turn. So she hasn't used it on her turn yet, so she can do it for him. So let's do that now. We're going to charge. He has a token, but he has Indom, so he can push and not take a click of damage. So half your movement, he has a 10, so you 5 movement. 1, 2, 3. Go right there. Flip that over for the push. He's got the heavy object. Heavy objects do +2 damage from close combat. He has a 11 attack on a 17. Energy shield deflection does not come into play because it's close combat, unfortunately. So it's going to be an 11 on a 17. He only needs a 6 to do 6 clicks of damage. Cyclops is looking like it's going to hurt him. We roll a 7, that hits. So this team, they don't have probability, so they have no other choice. He's pushed. Well, they do have a choice. When you have a theme team, you can decide to give yourself an action token to prob the roll. And we will do that. This is something that it'll come up, but since we're demoing it, we're gonna just gonna do it because we have it. We'll theme prob it. So you give yourself an action token, and then you make your opponent re-roll their dice. He rolls a 7, he still hits. So technically in that situation, because you know she has a prob, it's gonna hit most likely. So you might not want to do it. But I had it. I know someone would be like, you have theme prob, so use it. Okay. On my theme prob, I have Indom, so I don't take a click of damage. So I don't take a push and click. But that is 4 damage on the dial. And heavy, so that is 6 clicks. So I take 6 clicks with Cyclops. He has no damage reducer, so he doesn't reduce any of the damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is still in the game, but hurting extremely bad. And Colossus has Indom, so he doesn't take. So now Magic, she's still in the game. She still has no action token, so she can be given an action. So let's see what she can do. Her range is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she can shoot on Cyclops. So in this scenario, she can shoot on him, which is probably the best thing, and she probably will do that. Or she can move or do whatever she would want to do. What we're going to do, you have to check line of sight. Since Colossus is there, it's possible that she doesn't actually have line of sight, even though she has the range. You go up 1, over. This crosses right here. It doesn't cross over anyone else's, so she can make that attack. It's going to be a 10 on a 16, but he has toughness now, so he can reduce 1 of the damage. She does 3 damage, though. So let's roll it up. She hasn't used her prob yet, though. She rolls a 6, that hits, and he is dealt 3 damage. He reduces 1 with toughness. He is now KO'd. If you can see, as you can see there's KO. That means he is knocked out of the game. When you're knocked out of the game, your figure comes off the map. Any tokens assigned to him come off the map. And then the attacker gets an action token. And that's as simple as that, really. So let's just kind of play through this really quick. Magneto has to clear. He has 2 up, so he has to clear. Now it's them. He's tokened up. He has to clear. We don't want to push Magic, so she'll clear as well. So Magneto is just going to do a run and shot Pulse Wave here. Pulse Wave ignores all powers. So if you have Impervious, it goes right through that. So it's really, really powerful. So it's going to be a 10 on an 18. He rolls a 4, if you see that. So that misses. Magneto is not doing very well. And that's the thing with this game is, you know, dice roll are a huge factor in this game. I'm not really doing a whole lot of strategy here just because I'm trying to kind of give you guys an idea of how this works. But you see that you can have a set up plan. You can actually hit someone, but it might not work. All right, so now it's the Colossus and Magic's turn. Magic is now going to walk over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to this spot right here. Anytime you walk adjacent to an opposing character, you have to stop. So, you know, you kind of want to be cautious when you walk by someone, because if she would have stopped, like walked here, she'd have to stop there. She couldn't just go here to there. She has to come around. So that's something you want to also know. Now, there are some characters that can ignore characters for movement, and there's powers like leap, climb, and phase in and such like that. But typically, most characters have to stop. You'll know when you see the dial and you see the powers, you'll know what they do. Okay, so she gets an action token for moving. over there. We know she has probability, which is really big in this game. We still have charge, so what we're going to do is charge here on Magneto. Magneto has this power, it's a new power, Invincible. Reduces half the damage dealt to him. So that's really big. There's 4 damage, so it's going to be 11 on a 17. He rolls a 3. Colossus rolls a 3 and misses. We got our prop, we're going to re-roll that roll. That's a 7, that now hits. Colossus dealt Magneto 4 damage, he reduces half of it. So he reduces 2, he takes 2. 1, 2. Colossus will get an action token. Alright, so it's Magneto's turn to see what he can do. He is not pushed, so he can still attack. So we have to try to do that. So what we're going to do is, he has this power now, it's called Outwit. Outwit allows you to take away an opponent's power that they have. If you have with it, you can see them. So he can see both of these characters, so he's definitely going to be able to use it. Now the decision is what power to outwit. Probability has been killing him, but Colossus has Impervious still. So that's the most important because we need to do damage. So Magneto will outwit Impervious, push attack, 10 on an 18. He needs an 8 twice because Magic has prob. Magneto is not looking good in this battle. Well, the first attack hits, it's a 9. So Magic will make him re-roll. And again, that's a miss. So he gets his second token. Colossus now is going to push. Attacking 11 on a 16. He rolls it. He rolls a 7. That hits. He dealt 4 damage. Now Magneto only has toughness, so he only reduces 1 on the damage, so he takes 3 clicks. 1, 2, 3. He is still alive. That's crazy. So he would push. Taking that is in Dom, so he doesn't take a click of damage. But Magic has a token, so if she attacks, she will push. But it's the end of the game. We're going to push to KO Magneto. It's going to be a 10 on a 17. Magic rolls a 9. That hits Magneto. He has a 17 defense. He has a trait of energy shield deflection from ranged attacks, which would be a 19. That still hits though, and he would be dealt the 3 damage, and it would KO him. She would take her push, and the winners are Colossus and Magic. And that is basically how you play a game of Heroclix and how you win, by knocking out your opponents. So I hope this tutorial at least helped one person learn the game of Heroclix and you enjoy it as much as I do. And you know, this is a fun game, but it is complex. So for this tutorial, I didn't cover everything and I didn't go by all of the powers that were on the cards and the dials, just because I didn't really want to make it too complex for some of the new players. I just wanted to give you guys the basics and try to weed out some of the more complex stats and powers, just so it would be a little bit more user-friendly. So, like I said, I hope this video helps one new player out there to pick up the game, play a game that I personally love, and I know a lot of other people love as well. And leave a comment, tell me what you think, tell me if there was something that you think I could have done better in this video. I made an older video, probably a couple years back, and I wanted to do a new how to play Heroclix video for a long time, but I wanted to do this big, epic, grand video, and I never did it. So I figured, you know what? We're just going to do this quick overview video of just how to do it, and we're just going to knock it out, and I don't know if it's going to be better or worse, but we're going to do it. And I think this is an awesome set. These figures are great. I think the game is going in the right direction. There is a lot of figures out there. You don't have to feel like you have to have all of them, but get the figures you like, collect the characters you like, and play the game. You'll love it. And I promise you, the more you play it, the easier it gets, and it's a lot of fun. It is a smart person game though. It's a strategy game. You have to battle an opponent to win map control and knock out their characters. It's not going to be super easy, but for a challenge, it is the game to play. if you like superheroes. Take it easy, guys. Please subscribe, rate this video, thumbs it up, share it. Tell everyone that, you know, if you're trying to promote the game, this is a video to help you out. All right, guys. See you guys around.